Good morning and welcome to Family Computer Center. In this video, we are going to discuss about the variables and data types in C++. Okay, so first we will discuss about what is a variable and what is a declaration syntax for declaring the variable and what are the rules for giving name for a variable and what are the basic data types, and after that we will doing practically declaring and using the variable in this video. Okay, so first we will check what is the definition of the variable. Variable is actually a named location for storing your data. Okay, so during our program execution, sometimes we need to receive inputs from the user. Inputs means maybe the user's age, or maybe the user's salary, or address, or even the name. So those inputs we have to receive inside the program. Sometimes we will do some processing using the inputs provided by the user, and during the processing we will be having some intermediate results. Okay, and sometimes we will have final results also after the processing. So all these three things must be stored inside your computer, correct? For that we use variable. So variable is a named location for storing our data temporarily. Temporarily in the sense, when you declare a variable, that information is stored in the primary memory of your computer. Okay, but you have to remember something. You must declare the variable before using them. So declaration means you have to inform the compiler, inform the C++ compiler that you are going to use the memory of the computer. Okay, for declaring the variable, you have to first say the data type. Then after that you have to put a space. Then you have to specify the name for the variable. So here's two examples for declaring the variable. You can see int age. So int is the data type and age is the name of the variable. And you can see here string name. So here string is the data type and name is the name of the variable. See what are the rules you have to follow when you are giving name for a variable. Rule number one, variable name must be unique. What does that mean? In your program, if you have declared a variable with a particular name, you cannot declare another variable with the same name. So only original, duplicate names are not permitted in variable declaration. And second rule you have to follow is like variable name must not be a keyword. What are keywords? Keywords are reserved words inside the language library. For example, cout. Cout is already having a meaning in C++. Hash include IOStream. All of them are keywords. So they are already having a particular meaning in C++ language. So you cannot use them as the variable name. And when you declare the variable name must be meaningful. That means I have seen people declaring the variable like int a, b, c, like that. So those are just English alphabets. So avoid using single in English alphabet. If you're storing the age, you can simply name the variable as age. And if you're storing the salary, you can simply name the variable as salary. So that memory will be representing the salary and the name is meaningful, which will avoid confusion while you do the program. Okay, and when you are giving the variable, how many characters you can use in variable name? You can have only maximum of 32 characters. So you can have a variable which is having one character name, and you can even have a variable which is having 32 characters long. Okay, and you must begin with an alphabet. You must begin with an English alphabet, and numbers are permitted but after the alphabets. Okay, and symbols or spaces are not permitted. You cannot use any special symbols in the variable name, but you can use underscores. So suppose you need a space, you need to space out two words in the variable name. You cannot use a space, but use an underscore to space out them. And the variable names are case sensitive. That means if you use uppercase, lowercase, they are two different things. They are case sensitive in C++. Okay, so now we will see what are the basic data types we can use in C++. So data types in C++ are mainly categorized into two main categories. They are numeric data types, and the second type is non-numeric data type. So the name itself suggests, or name itself tells you what is that. Numeric data type is for storing the numbers, and non-numeric data type is for storing the data which are not numbers. Okay, so numeric data type mainly categorized into four different types: int, long, float, and double. Int and long is used for storing the whole numbers, and float and double is used for storing the decimal number. So why do we need two data types for storing the same thing? Because they are differentiated based on how much memory they consume. So if you are dealing with the big numbers, millions or something like that, which needs huge amount of memory, better you go with long. If you are dealing with small numbers, you go with int. So it will help you to save some memory for your application. Okay, float and double are used for storing the decimal number. Same like int and long, they are also differentiated based on how much space they consume. So small decimal numbers you could use float, and the bigger decimal numbers you can use decimal. Okay, and under the non-numeric variables, first data type is char. Char used for storing single characters, single letters. Okay, and there is a data type called a string, which is used for storing the text, a word or sentence or something like that. And there is a variable called bool, that's for storing the boolean values, which is true or false values. So these are the basic things you have to know before you start programming using the variables. Now let's try declaring some variables in Dave C++ IDE. So now we are back to the Dave C++ IDE. So in this, I have already made the basic structure of the C++ program, and I'm going to declare some variables in it. Okay. So first I will declare a variable to store my name. So I'm giving string my name. Sorry. String my name. Correct. So all the variable declaration you have to stop with semicolon. Okay, and I will have a character variable char grade semicolon. Then I'm going to give like an integer variable to store my age. Okay, then a long variable to store my id underscore number for storing the id number. Then a float variable to storing my height. Then there is a double variable to store my salary, and I will have a boolean variable to store my status, driving license status. So these are the variable I declared. So when I declare string my name, the C++ compiler goes to the computer's primary memory and reserve a big portion from there, and that portion will be given my name, and that portion will be prepared to store one string value in it. Okay, same as the other variables also. And if you're declaring more than one variable with the same data type, you can declare it separated by a comma. For example, you want to have a variable to store your name and an address, so you can say string my name comma address. So both of these variable will be having the data type string. So this is how you declare the variable. Okay, so now we will see how we can assign value to this variable. Okay, so for assigning value to this variable, there is different methods for assigning value to these variables. So the first method is assign the value using assignment operator. So directly assigning the value. So I'm just giving my name equals, in quotation I will just write Joji. Okay, then I'm going to give like grade equals, in single quotes I will say A. So I have A grade. Maybe I will use a capital letter A. Then I'm going to give age equals 35. Okay. And ID number. So remember, the variable names are case sensitive. So if you use capital letters, you are supposed to use the capital letters. Okay, ID number, I'm gonna give 285356 something. Okay, then I'll give height 157.6. Okay, then salary, then I'm giving 15,000. Okay, and TL underscore status equals true. So I have a driving license. So you might have noticed that some of the variable, when I assign value, I put it inside the quotation. Some of the variable I put single quotation, and some of the variable there is no quotation, nothing. Okay, so that you have to remember. If you're assigning value to a string variable, you must enclose it in double quotation. And if you're assigning value to a character variable, you can enclose it in a single quotation. And if you're assigning value to a number variable, any of the numeric variables, you don't need any quotation. And if you're assigning value to a boolean variable, you can use either true or false only. Okay, so how do we believe that these values are stored inside the variable or not? So let's try to print it out using some cout statements. So I will write cout statements for each of them. So I will write name, then I put colon, then I will put output operator again, my name, semicolon. I will repeat the cout for all of them. Okay, so I have written the statement for printing it out. So I know there is no line break, so I'm going to make some line breaks. So now let's try to save this file. So I just click the save button. It's already saved. So now I will just try to compile it, whether I have written the program correct or not, and generate the executable file. Okay, so now the compiling is working, and our compile is done. There is no errors, there is no warnings. Okay, so let's try to run this program. So when I run this program, you can see, there you go. So there is name, grade, age, ID number, height, salary, holder license. So you can see holder license 1 stands for true and 0 stands for false. Okay, so here you go. So we have declared the variable, we have assigned the value, and to test it, we just printed it out in the console. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure that you subscribe to our channel so that you will not miss any further video we post.